All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people, just like you right there, just like me here. All right, before I get going on this video, check this out. This is such a cool album. I've got vinyl, ladies and gentlemen, two records, just an amazing package here. This is Turkish Delight, and I don't know. This is what melodic rock should be, what it could be if we had a melodic rock industry here in the United States. Check out these albums. I mean, holy crap, Batman. It's kind of like white marbled vinyl. I'm not worthy. And I want to thank Khalil Turk for sending this out to me. I told him I would be diligent in helping promote this because not only is it really good marketing, but this is really great music. For a compilation record, this could be the one to have for this year. If you just wanted to buy one album with a whole bunch of examples of great melodic rock, this would be a Turkish Delight. Features some of the great singers of our current time, including Jeff Scott Soto and Jerome Mazza, my two friends. I would consider them friends. They're good guys. And they are in this business for all the right reasons. They want to make great music. And Khalil Turk, the mastermind behind it all, hence the name Turkish Delight, something you should consider purchasing for the holidays before they run out of these. I'd like to sell like maybe 5,000 of these, and just tell them that the RMO sent you, and just so we know that the videos are actually being watched. But it's a great holiday gift. Speaking of the holidays, both Jonathan Cain and Steve Perry have holiday music out there. And it occurred to me that both of these guys are, creating music for the season. But I think if you examine the motivation behind their Christmas tunes, you come to a different conclusion when it comes to motivation. Now, Steve Perry, his holiday song, he wrote one original holiday song, and he did a cover of, I believe, a Donny Hathaway song. I haven't spent all that much time with these songs, but I have listened to Maybe This Year a few times, which is Perry's new song. This is what Steve Perry said. I wanted to write an original Christmas song of my own, so Dallas Cruz and I began writing what became Maybe This Year. I wrote the lyrical sentiment about how the holidays can bring such joy and sadness, and for me, both these emotions give me connection to feelings of gratitude for so many years gone by, and a desire to hold on to these holiday feelings we share throughout the coming year. Sincerely, Steve Perry. Now, let's take a look at what Jonathan Cain had to say about the music that he just put out there. Let's talk about what it is first, so you know where to find it, where to listen to it. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee and Journey band member Jonathan Cain has just released Christmas is Love from Identity Records. The EP is available now at digital and streaming outlets everywhere. Doesn't sound like there'll be any physical copies to purchase. Produced and written by Cain, with all but one track mixed and mastered at Addiction Sound Studios by David Kalmuski, who's worked with The Fray, Justin Bieber, and Keith Urban. Christmas is Love is a 5-song holiday offering bearing this legendary musician's signature. Familiar yet unconventional, the EP paints a musical palette highlighting the remarkable story of the birth of Jesus in the opening track, Hope Was Born, and marvels at the miracle in Who Is This Child, while underscoring the core message in the title track. I enjoy celebrating Christmas every year, says Cain, who remembers the joy of singing carols at home with his family growing up. What went down in the desert at Bethlehem is such a monumental miracle that shouldn't be taken for granted. It was a game changer. Now, Christmas is Love is rounded out by Cain's top 5 Christmas radio hit, Wonder of Wonders, which was first released in 2019 and features Grammy-nominated, platinum-selling Newsboys lead singer Michael Tate. Wonder of Wonders, by the way, is a fantastic song. Just an amazing song by two guys who you wouldn't think work well together, but their voices actually work really well together. So anyway, I wanted to highlight the difference between Steve Perry and Jonathan Cain when it comes to their views on the holiday or Christmas season. First of all, Jonathan Cain is unabashedly celebrating Christmas. He's celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. He's not mincing words. He's not trying to candy coat it. He's not talking about some feeling that he has at the holidays, although he does talk about how he enjoys celebrating Christmas, and he talks about the joy of singing carols at home. But his big statement here is what went down in the desert at Bethlehem. This is such a cool way he describes this. He says, it's such a monumental miracle that shouldn't be taken for granted. It was a game changer. All right. Now, you may not like Jonathan Cain. You may not like his voice. I get that a lot. Well, he's not really a singer. I would say this about Cain. His vocals have been getting better over the years. And that's kind of weird because most guys tend to go downhill. I think Cain has learned how to be a better singer, and he's singing every week as a worship leader over at the City of Destiny Church in Apopka, Florida, where his wife, Paula White Cain, is pastor. Now, again, I understand you may not like him. You may not like his wife. Okay, fair enough. But let's take a look at what Steve Perry says here. Steve Perry says, I wrote the lyrical sentiment about the holidays and how they can bring such joy and sadness, and how for me both these emotions give me connection to feelings of gratitude for so many years gone by and a desire to hold on to these holiday feelings we share throughout the coming year. Now, it instantly occurred to me that one man here has faith in something greater than himself. It's not just a feeling. It's not just the memories, which are always an interesting way to frame the holiday season. I remember what it was like when I was a kid, and there was this innocence there. Absolutely. Those are great feelings to hold on to. But that's not what Christmas is all about. It's not about the joy and the sadness in your own life. It's about something that's greater that can transform your life completely. And whether you question Jonathan Cain's faith or not, it's clear that when someone says what went down in Bethlehem, in the desert in Bethlehem, is a game changer. It's a miracle that shouldn't be taken for granted. And I'm sorry, folks, I'm kind of tired of this sentimental, syrupy kind of, I don't know. Men are becoming different as time goes on. They're so handicapped by their past and their emotions. And what we've seen out of Perry since he came back onto the scene was this, hey, I was damaged. I was in such pain. And here he talks about how the holidays bring joy and sadness. Yeah, for some people, especially if they experience a death during the holiday season, that can be a source of never-ending sadness. And I completely understand that. But what I like about what Cain has to say here, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't feel sad at the holidays, but what Cain is saying here is that there's something bigger, something that was a game changer that people need to acknowledge. And I don't think Steve Perry has ever made that acknowledgement. And I'm not trying to be an evangelist here. That's not what my channel is all about. I think people know where I stand on faith in Jesus Christ, and that is the way. There's no other way. I'm sorry to let people down who are not religious and involved in just fate and chance and randomness of everything. Call it a crutch. You want to call it a crutch? Everybody says, hey, it's a giant crutch. There was a Christian band, I think, a long time ago called like 10,000 foot crutch or whatever it was. And they basically were telling the world, hey, you want to call it a crutch? We're going to embrace the crutch, right? This is all we've got. And Jonathan Cain realizes that there's something greater than him. He does his share of reminiscing here, but it's bigger than him. And it's the story of one guy who's come to faith and another guy who apparently is still kind of searching around out there. I mean, Steve Perry says, it'd be great to hold on to these holiday feelings throughout the year. Going to hold on to those holiday feelings throughout the year. Sorry, Steve, no matter what holiday it is, whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's, you should be able to hold on to New Year's, right, for the whole year, because you're celebrating a new year and you're turning over a new leaf and you're going to become a better person in the new year, unless it's backed up by something. It's kind of like, when our money was backed by gold, it meant something. But if your feelings aren't backed up by something, then they're not going to be sustainable. What I like about Jonathan Cain, and I may dislike a lot of things about Jonathan Cain, but what I like about him is he's completely grounded in his faith. This isn't just a gimmick. He's not just putting out Christmas songs to kind of tease people and, bring them along into his world, or to make these appearances and then go away for months and months on end. And look, Cain does not have the star power like Steve Perry. I mean, Cain, if he's lucky, he'll get a couple thousand views. Although the song he did with Michael Tate is spectacular. You got to go listen to it if you haven't heard Wonder of Wonders. It is that good. And it's one of those songs you can listen to over and over again. And Cain sounds great on the track. Now, again, people might want to listen to Steve Perry over Jonathan Cain, saying that Steve Perry has a better singing voice. I'm sure that was true back in 1982. It was probably true back in 1992, and maybe even in 2002. I'm not sure that's true anymore. And that's just my own humble opinion here. And I have this channel and I throw out opinions and I make observations. That's what I do. So you can judge for yourself. I think the content of these songs, it's a stark difference between one man who's found something that's real and another man who is holding on to childhood feelings and the spirit of the season, but really has nothing as concrete and as grounding as what obviously Jonathan Cain has found. And many of us have found that, and many of us aren't afraid to express it. It's cliche, but Jesus is the reason for the season. It's, not, hey, I can't wait to shop on Black Friday. No, that's not the reason for the season. Hey, I can't wait to buy more presents than I've ever purchased before because I'll make people happy. That's cool. I have no problems with that, even though Christmas has become largely a pagan celebration, because let's just be honest, it's not really about Christ. But Jonathan Cain is pointing in that direction, and I think we need to do more pointing. The other day, Steve Perry was pointing at a bridge, and someone said that Steve was pointing in the wrong direction, that he should have been pointing toward Neil Sean's house, right? The spirit of reconciliation. I mean, that doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is Cain is pointing toward the cross, and Steve Perry is kind of pointing toward himself. And that's very simplistic, and there's more to it than just what I said. But it's clear that if I'm going to listen to holiday music, quote unquote holiday, it should be Christmas music, but we'll just use that term. I'm going to want to hear some stuff that's grounded a little bit. I mean, not the entire time. I'm still going to go rocking around the Christmas tree. There's no problem. I'm still going to listen to Frosty the Snowman, even though all of these things were devices that ended up distracting us from what Jonathan Cain says here. Again, I just love what he says one more time here about what he says happened in the desert. He said, what went down in the desert at Bethlehem is such a monumental miracle that it shouldn't be taken for granted. It was a game changer. So again, someone who speaks that candidly and that directly, without your typical metaphors and, your descriptive phrases, I think that's somebody who really has changed, and their life revolves around that entire event, and then obviously the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, which those two events, especially the resurrection, I would say the resurrection is the most important event in human history. But the birth is a reminder that we have a way out. And in the year 2023, which is coming up soon, people are going to be thinking more and more about what their life is going to be like and how to navigate the world that we live in. And you really can't do it without a strong faith. If you don't have it, you're going to be like the shipwrecked person, kind of like, being blown about without any real bearings, any course. And you're going to make phrases like that these emotions and feelings give me a connection. And the feelings and emotions, after a while, those feelings and emotions don't sustain you. You need something that's really going to anchor you. And the only person who can do that is Jesus. That's it. Pretty simple. So don't mean to go too evangelical on you. I'm not a big fan of the modern day church these days because everything is watered down. All of the preaching is just feel good, happy. Tell us the whole truth. Give us the whole word from start to finish. Don't give us just some verses taken out of context and build your entire sermon on that one thing, because I think that's really what's wrong today, is that people, they want their ears tickled. They don't want to think about their life and mortality, and is there a life to come, and what will that be like? A lot of people think about it every day, and they know they have faith and trust in Jesus Christ. So kudos to Jonathan Cain. The music is pretty good too. I mean, he's got a bunch of songs on this thing. Hope Was Born, and Christmas is Love. And then there's, I think, one or two other tracks. And Wonder of Wonders, which is just a spectacular song that he recorded a few years ago with Michael Tate. So that's my video on this topic, folks. I know it might not be a popular thing to say and do. And I'm not just dissing Steve Perry for, because I can. That's not what this is about. This is about two perspectives. One guy who's going to get noticed because of who he is, and another guy who's not going to get noticed because he's not as important, and he isn't the lead singer, right? And he's not as well-known or popular, but he has a really important message. And I think people at this time of year, at this point in our history, with 2023 looming, and who knows what that year is going to be like, we all need to have the spirit of Christmas and Christ into 2023. Those holiday feelings, those aren't sustainable and they don't last. They're good to have, but they need to be backed up, like the money again, by something that's solid. Like Jesus is the gold that used to back up the money supply. And I think that's the way you need to look at it. So yeah, really bad preaching by me. So Don't sign up to get my sermon updates because I won't be sending them out. Although you can sign up and support the channel via Patreon. Also on Odyssey, you can sign up for memberships over there. If you're watching this on Odyssey, like $5 a month, that would be appreciated. The Patreon, you can do as little as $1 a month. And look, folks, we're all in this together. We all have different perspectives, and you don't have to agree with my religious talk here. But I thought it was an opportunity going into the holiday season, the Christmas season, to just throw it on out there and see what happens. Could be the end. Who knows? Thanks for watching. See you soon.